Welcome to the Bearded Bama Bushcrafter. I am out rucking. What is rucking? Rucking, I believe, is the military's version of hiking with weight on. And I've got my Pathfinder Scout Pack. I believe that's what it's called. At least that's what I'm calling it. And I've probably got about 20 to 25 pounds. Got a bunch of my equipment in it. I wanted to give this pack a test run. And I've got to say, I've probably been about a mile so far. And I've got to say, I'm impressed with it. It rides very nice. This thing is a Cadillac. I'd read a lot about it. It was all kind of good reviews. Of course, coming from Dave Canterbury, it's going to be bulletproof. And he designed this pack for bushcrafting, camping, whatever, to fit the needs of being out, holding up to the elements, getting your gear in and being comfortable. So I thought today, it is a beautiful day. Check this out. Look at that beautiful bluebird sky. We have been blessed here with some fabulous weather, although it's getting a little dry. But that's kind of the norm for our area. Our autumns, it can get dry, and then rain will come back in. We'll get some winter rain. But boy, we had a wet summer. Had a hurricane poke through down in Florida and cause some damage. And y'all keep those folks in your prayers. There's people having to rebuild their lives. But right now, just out and enjoying this beautiful day and seeing what we'll see on this walk. Now, some of my faithful followers who've been following along with me for the past 2 or 3 years since I started making these videos may remember this area right here. I think it was last year I came over. Spring of 2021 it may have been. Did a video with a friend of mine, and we talked about an encounter he had when he was a little boy. And it was a Bigfoot-like creature. We got over there and poked around. And I think this property has been sold since, so we don't have permission to go on it anymore. And there used to be a house trailer here, and this property was sold along with it. There's only 2 houses on this road. It would be cool, and these 2 families that live on the house, I believe they're 2 siblings, and they own all this property, and this property is all around me. It would be nice to have permission to get on this property and explore. But I don't have permission, so I have to stay on the road and just gawk at it from the road. Talk a little more about this pack. I really like this harness and these straps. This pack rides very well on my back, and it sets on a position where it's not too high or too low where I'm having to fold over and pick it up. I got it cinched. It's got the waist, the chest, which is coming, this worked a little loose, but it's going to do that. I got to break this pack in. Noticed a little bit of tension right in here, and that's normally where I get fatigued with my packs, but so far it's not too bad. And then I noticed, like, if I go on extended hikes and the packs are not where I get a lot of fatigue in the shoulder muscles up here and the neck. But right now it's doing well. It's fitting like a glove. I have all my equipment. I could go somewhere tonight, spend the night, and be very comfortable in the woods, have a little bit of food. I have my Grail water purifier with me. Those things are fantastic. All you have to do is find you a body of water, scoop you some up in the cup, and it's like a French press, and it filters it up through the bottom, and you have fresh, clean, purified water, and you don't have to worry about a little I think it's 99.99% of all, what do they call those little nasties, protozoas, bugs that get in the water, little microbes that can make us sick. So, man, it's so beautiful. Look out there, you can see the goldenrod and the ragweed, I believe. They're both yellow. This stuff right here, those wildflowers, honeybees, we get our, I guess a lot of times it's called clover honey. That's what I know it as. It's kind of a light honey. Clover's more in the springtime, so this would be your fall wildflower honey. Some good stuff. Good stuff. I've been kind of trying to watch over my shoulder here. Normally, there's about 3 or 4 dogs that come out to the road barking. It's been a while since I've been over here as far as on my bike or walking. Did a video 2 or 3 summers back, maybe 2019. We did the 4448, and that's where we ran 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And this was one of our routes. We had come over here and did some mileage, and it was from the house. It was 2 miles out and 2 miles back, which gave us 4 miles. And boy, that was one of the toughest, I don't know what you want to call it. It was tough. It was torture. Started out fine, and then into the wee hours of that first night, it started getting horrible, terrible muscle aches and pains and cramps and all that good stuff. Now I gotta be on my toes up here because at this next house there was a blue heeler that used to like to come out and try to get around back behind me. And I've owned a blue heeler, and those jokers will get you. So I need to be paying attention here. Alright, so I got clear of those 2 home places, no dogs. We have what they call leash laws in our area, but you know, law is only as good as the people who uphold them. A lot of people out here in the rural parts of the county, they don't worry about keeping their dogs up. Still can get out and get yourself in some trouble with a loose animal. I've had them chase me a few times through here when I was jogging or riding my bike. On my bike, I kind of used it as an opportunity to work on my sprint. But I'm a better biker than I am a runner. So, looks like we got something like a coyote. Did a little postmark here in the road. I don't have anything. That looks like it's got hair, and I think I see persimmon seeds. Which persimmons, man, they have been in an abundance this year. It's one of the, I'm trying to remember when I last seen them. There's so many persimmons, and most of them are already, from what I've been seeing, have already ripened, and they don't last long. That's like the ice cream of the forest to the animals around here. And every animal around here will eat persimmons. Your deer, your fox, your bobcat, coyotes, the coons, you name it, they're gonna eat those persimmons. It's just a good nutritious treat for them. And it makes a real fine jelly or a jam when you get them right. You eat those things, if they're not right, they'll draw your mouth up and just like alum, just real weird feeling. We used to trick each other when we were kids on getting each other to try to eat a green persimmon. It won't take you too long to learn that little trick. As I was walking along, I noticed this game trail. It's pretty defined. See deer tracks. It goes over, and it looks like it crosses right over in there and it goes into the woods. But I see deer track and coon tracks, like maybe a fox. Hearing blue jays hollering at me. Blue jays get to fussing. This is a real neat area in here. up ahead where the road turns. It's a real pretty bottom. And years ago, just beyond where the road turns, there's some other property, and one of our relatives, she owned it. She had about 13 or 1400 acres, and she would always give my dad and I and my brother, she'd write us a permit every year, and we could come out here and deer hunt, turkey hunt. And man, those were a lot of blessed times. Really took those days for granted. Because it's hard to find a good place to hunt now without you having to get into a club and spend a lot of money and then put up with a bunch of stupid rules. We already have enough game laws. Y'all probably heard me rant enough about those, which I'm not against the laws. I mean, we need them and regulations. But now, getting a permit and hunting a piece of property for free, that's almost unheard of. But we used to hunt, and man, there was all kind of critters running around that property. And I'm not sure if anyone hunts this place. I know the land beyond it that I'm getting closer to, it's leased now. And there's a big hunting club somebody has. Here in our area we have muscadines, and this is how they grow. And the muscadines have already finished. And over there, you can just see them go all the way up to the top of these trees. And that's another thing, deer love muscadines. I love muscadines. I make some good jams and jellies and some good wine. It's a real pleasant taste, real sweet aroma. It's definitely, when I smell muscadines, the nostalgia of my childhood and this time of year, the autumn, the fall, man, it just stirs all kind of memories. I was looking, hoping to find a persimmon tree, but I have not seen a persimmon tree along this. There's some staghorn sumac. This tree right here. Yep. And the berries have been picked clean. Now there is a poison sumac, but that is a staghorn. And staghorn, I'd read that you can take and make a drink. Real popular during the 18th century. And the way they described it was like a 18th century Gatorade. Gave you a lot of energy, I guess electrolytes. It's funny, every time those things start blooming and the fruiting out, I always think I'm going to make some, and I never have made any. That's one of those things I need to do. I've gotten down here. This property used to be a relative of ours. She passed away. The land got sold, and the landowner has it now. He just recently passed away, but I think his children have taken over all the assets, so that'll remain in the family, I'm pretty sure. But all these planted pines, these things are probably 15, 20 years, maybe. They've done some row cutting, and then they burn it. This used to all be agriculture on both sides of the road here. Let me pan the camera around. All that used to be, mainly it would be cotton. And sometimes they'd plant peanuts. And one of my cousins who hunted this property back in the day, he had a pea patch he would plant. And he would plant it to keep the deer interested in coming in and out of that area. But now all this stuff is planted pines, which I'm sure that's a good return on your investment. Just takes it longer to yield the bounty from the harvest there. These are loblolly pines, and I believe they're a hybrid. They are made to grow quicker, so you can cut them quicker. But here, I notice a lot of landowners, when they cut, I think a deer just jumped. When they cut, now a lot of landowners are getting part of that, getting to that restoration of the longleaf pine And it's cool to see that. Those trees used to be massive and grew all over the southeast. And they're trying to get all that restored. A lot of stuff going on with trying to get the natural grasses and trees and other plants and stuff restored in the environment. You can tell you're out in the country when you come up to a sign and you see a bullet hole. Rednecks. Oh man, there's a stop sign up here. Somebody peppered it with a shotgun. This is free target practice provided to you by your local state and county authorities. I guess if they were aiming for that P, they were pretty much on. Standing here and a plane flew over. Didn't think about it until it flew over. Pretty sure it's those guys that they fly these gas lines checking. I know when I worked for the gas company, we were taught to look for certain signs of where gas was leaking in the foliage and grass. Standing here when the plane flew over, and I was looking out here and I see some honeybees and other little pollinators. I think that is goldenrod. Goldenrod and ragweed are real similar. These are some type of little daisies, it looks like. My herbaceous studies, that was one of the toughest ones. But the bees, the honeybees, they'll get in here and they'll pollinate and they'll draw nectar. And when they make that honey, if you ever heard of the term local honey, what that is, that's referring to where you live and honey within probably about a 250 mile radius. If you consume that honey raw, it'll help you develop immunities against the allergies that a lot of these plants cause us to suffer with. All right, I made my turnaround, so I'm headed back. And I imagine this is going to be a probably 5 or 6 mile little ruck session today. The pack is holding up good. My shoulders feel fine. I need to get out and do this more. Plan on doing some hiking. Man, this weather is just absolutely fantastic for being alive and being outside. The sunshine, the vitamin D, the fresh air, the sights, the smells, the sounds, and it just really gets your senses perked up. Last night, before we went to bed, went outside and my oldest son was with me, and then my daughter joined us. We had a pair of binoculars and we were looking at Jupiter. And from what I understand, it started right there at the end of September. Jupiter is the closest without the sun messing it up at night. However that works. I'm not an astrologist or whatever, astronomer, but did I make up a new word? Astrologist? Is that astrology, astronomy? Anyway, I'm not an expert on those things, but I was reading about it. So we went out with the binoculars and you could see Jupiter and 3 of its 80 moons. And then we got talking about the size of Jupiter. Jupiter is 109 times the size of Earth. It's a massive planet. Wow. Man, those numbers, you get to looking at the sun and how big it is and how many millions of times the Earth can go into the sun. It's like, wow, good gracious. But it was cool to stand there with just a good pair of my binoculars and actually see the planet. My son was claiming he could see that big storm that has been on Jupiter for hundreds of years. And I couldn't see that. I just saw the planet. But I could definitely see the 3 moons. And they both saw those moons. That was cool. That was real neat to see. I guess it'll be 100-something years before that happens again. But it was in the 60s when it was this close. So, not sure why it's going to take it so much longer before you see it like it is. Here again, not an expert. Okay, I just noticed a big old piece of fat lighter I may have to come and get that. Did not see any persimmon trees. Have not come up on any. A lot of hickories in this area. I'm walking back through where this bottom is. This is from the other direction. See all the muscadines over there. Sweet gum. Big old pine tree. Look how tall that pine tree right there is. Now you could get on a climber and you'd get up in the nosebleed sections there. Here's some oak trees. I believe that is a bastard oak. There's all types of different species of trees here. Poplars. And look at all these grasses. Man, everything. It's funny, the fall has a lot of blooming of stuff, just like the spring does. And then everything starts going dormant. Goes into the cold, dreary winter months. Alright, real quick. Here's some staghorn sumac. Look at it. It's got some pretty color coming out. And the berries are gone. But that is a small to large bush. That one's probably 8 feet tall, even on that bank. Here's some more. Of course, here, like I said, all the berries are gone. Staghorn. I need to remember, I guess it'll be next year because I don't see any with the berries. It looks like the birds have picked them clean. They don't last long. All the critters out here, they got to eat too. But make some of that drink. Try it out. See how good it is. What I was reading about it sounded like it was a tasty beverage. Alright, well I'm going to get on back. Just thought I would share this little walk with you guys. Try to get out and make a video and just talk about some things. And this pack was kind of my main idea. Of course, with my rabbit trail mines, game trail, I get off on all kind of subjects. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this little trip. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button. Please leave a comment. I am learning with YouTube that helps you with the algorithms. Get you moved up to different areas where your videos can be seen. Like it, hit that like button. If you don't like it, I guess you can still hit that thumbs down button. I'd heard they had turned that off for some reason. Don't know why people worry about being offended. I mean, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And that's cool. It's a good thing about being able to make that choice. All right, everybody, I appreciate you. Those of you who are following along, thank you. Get outside, get into the sunshine. One more time, look at this beautiful bluebird sky. And there's some buzzards way up there. They're soaring around looking for a meal. Hopefully it ain't gonna be me. All right, guys, y'all take care. See you later.